Thank you for listening to SPN, the Savage Podcasting Network.
You're listening to The Stephen Savage Show on the Savage Podcasting Network. And now here's your host, film and television director, Stephen Savage.
Thank you, Andrea, and hello, everyone. It's Savage here, welcoming you to, well, what's turning out to be the first episode of the Stephen Savage Show for 2022, and we're already in June, so sorry about that, but the show's been on hiatus since last November, and we've been relying on our archived episodes to help us get through everything the last few months. It was just at the end of COVID, and but then all of a sudden everything kind of opened up, and then the work just came pouring in, so I had to take some time off. But glad to be back and back on track on the Savage Podcasting Network. And as our regular listeners know, this is the official podcast of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema and the brand new Scotland International Festival of Cinema, which was created as a sister festival to Idyllwild. And it was a huge success, which I'll be getting to in a minute. As usual, we're coming to you from Lunatopia Studios at Chateau Esteban in the beautiful village of Idyllwild, California, just 2 hours east of Los Angeles, but a world away at just under 6,000 feet high atop Mount San Jacinto and overlooking Palm Springs and the great Coachella Valley. So gives you an idea of where I'm speaking to you from. As I said, it's been months since I've posted a podcast, and today I'll be telling you what's up with that and what's happening in the film festival world that is so much a part of my life, along with my usual screenwriting, my work for Paramount, my film and television directing gigs, etc. And if it works in our schedule, we have something special going on. The Idyllwild and Scotland Cinema Festival executive producer Trinity Houston will be calling in from, I have no idea where she's at the moment, but she was in Vancouver a couple days ago, but who knows where she's at now. She's been directing music videos for the great Alan Parsons and the amazing blues guitarist Joe Bonamassa, and she created a brand new video for Alan, which I think has just premiered on YouTube. So she's doing some great stuff, and we'll be getting into the film festival stuff with her as well. I have a great lineup of guests on the schedule in the weeks to come, including my great friend Irene Bedard, whom you'll all know from her roles in Longmire, Westworld, and of course you'll remember her as the voice of Disney's Pocahontas. Irene has a bunch of new film and TV projects that she's working on now, and we'll hear all about it when she comes on the show sometime later in the summer. Also coming up is a second visit to the show from my friend, Idyllwild and Scotland Film Festival Grand Jury Chairperson Anne Archer, amazing actress and a good friend, as well as the great Scots actor Angus McFadden of Braveheart and the hit AMC series Turn. We also have supermodel Joanna Krupa, who will be on very soon, and we'll be talking to her about her animal rights groups that she works with, as well as she and her husband's efforts to get relief to the people of the Ukraine during the crisis there. So that'll be interesting. And many more great guests will be on, including some amazing independent filmmakers whose work you may not have been exposed to, but who we consider rising stars in film and television, and they need to be recognized. So keep looking out for those upcoming episodes. And speaking of episodes, we here at the Savage Podcasting Network have decided that our very popular true crime history podcast, Fatal Gothic, which I host with the amazing actress Julia Parker, will become an additional part of this program once a month or so that can fill in the gaps when I'm not able to do the Stephen Savage Show. We're going to be slotting in some of those episodes, and we'll do it right here on Savage Podcasting Network. Excuse my rambling on. It's been a while since I did a podcast, as I said, so please forgive me. I'll get back in the swing. So let's get down with it. To start with, I'm happy to announce that after 2 years of being a totally virtual festival, the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema will be a live event in 2023, and submissions are now open on Film Freeway as of June 1st. And the festival dates for next year are March 7th through the 12th, 2023, here in the village of Idyllwild. It's our 14th year, and we're very happy. I really didn't think we'd get this far. I thought I'd be lucky to get 2 years in, but here we are going into year 14. Idyllwild has played host to movies from every continent except Antarctica, and from over 25 countries, and I'm sure as soon as Antarctica starts developing filmmaking down, we'll be getting films from them. We're proud of the fact that we're truly an international festival, and we'll be hosting many film professionals in 2023, as always, for the audience members to talk to and hear from, seminars, and as well as an army of distribution companies from around the world, all looking for those films that they can pick up and distribute worldwide. Idyllwild's become quite a film market over the years, and as I go through on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Roku, Tubi, etc., I'm starting to see a lot of films that screened at Idyllwild in years past showing up on streaming platforms everywhere, and many of our alumni filmmakers have gone on to some very big projects, including one I'm happy to announce, the great young director and Idyllwild alum Sophia Banks, who just saw the release of her big-budget thriller Black Site, starring Michelle Monaghan and Jason Clarke. And I'm looking forward to having Sophie on the podcast very soon. And speaking of filmmakers hitting it out of the park, my friend and grand jury member for both the Idyllwild and Scotland International Cinema Festivals, Leslie Patterson, will be on the show soon telling us about her upcoming release for a Netflix original film, which she co-wrote and is executive producing, a brand new retelling of the World War I story, All Quiet on the Western Front, which I've heard will hit Netflix this coming winter. And I'm excited to have Leslie come on to talk with us and talk about the process of how do you get a film idea produced by Netflix, and her journey to get that film made. We might even get her up and onto the mountain and in the studio. That'd be great. Okay, so that's all for the Idyllwild Festival news for now, except to say that my festival partner Trinity Houston and I, and we should be having her on the phone as soon as she calls in. We're getting we're setting out a little tease and letting you all know that we've decided to add a music festival to our Film Fest company. It'll be held in Idyllwild at the new Butterfield Amphitheater in the summer of 2023. And since Trinity's so connected in the music world, as am I, but not to the extent she is, we should have some great acts, and it's going to be another very cool addition to our festival business. So I'll keep you all updated as we move forward with those plans. It's going to be fun. Okay, it looks like we have Trinity Houston on the phone at last. Trinity, are you there?
I am, Stephen.
It's so funny. I mean, how are you? Where are you? Whenever I talk to you,
I know.
You're either jumping on a plane or jumping off a plane, or where are you right now?
I'm just finishing in Santa Barbara. Just finished filming a music video for Alan Parsons that features David Pack from Ambrosia and Joe Bonamassa,
All right.
the blues guitarist.
Right.
Yeah. So we just finished filming that. He has 3 videos that are coming out for his next album. So we had one a few weeks ago.
Your last Bonamassa video that I saw was amazing. It really had like so many touches. It was bluesy, but it had a Beatles kind of touch to it. It was great. It was brilliant.
Yeah, well, the song was really nice. I thought that the song was great, and they gave us a lot of latitude to come up with something creative. And that one was fully animated. He wanted it to be a prog type of look to it, with little references to Beatles and Alan Parsons and, a lot of the people that he loved. And that was a really, really fun project, and it looked great
Yeah,
on the
it
big
looked
screen
awesome.
at Scotland at the film festival when it was up there on the screen. It was
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's funny because I'm a fan of his of Joe's, and I wasn't expecting that. He kind of took over the Stevie Ray Vaughan reign, as the number one blues guitarist in the world, and it was really out of left field, kind of really different from him. Not just the song, but the music video too. I thought it worked great.
Yeah, I think that I think it was different than the other things that he's been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy, very talented. They have an incredible marketing machine as well,
Hmm.
which just working with that and seeing what they're doing, very always excited about what's coming out,
Hmm.
and they're just nailing it, and
Well, so are
and
you.
he's nailing it.
You're
Well,
t-
I am so fortunate to have been able to come into the space, and everything's been by referral.
hmm.
So it's been it's just been fantastic.
Yeah, just
I,
good.
I
Just
love
building up
working in
your
this space.
building up your reputation as a music video director can't hurt. It leads to so many things, but you just do such a great job. Just so everybody knows, as I said earlier, Trinity's my partner on and the executive producer of both the Idyllwild International and the Scotland International Festivals of Cinema. As well as you just heard, a director and a music video director and producer, film producer. The resume goes on and on. And Trinity, as I said, I know your schedule's tight, so I don't want to keep you too long, but every time I talk to you, you're either jumping on a plane or getting off a plane, as I said, and or in some remote recording studio. And when I get to see you, I always have to fly to Europe to see. We're both American. We're both
Isn't that
American.
something?
It seems we only get together in person in other countries. So it sounds like you got a lot of cool projects going on. Are you pretty happy with everything you're doing right now?
Yeah, I just really love that creative space,
Hmm.
and I love being able to do my own expression through that,
Right.
and I like to collaborate with other people, and you and I have collaborated on a lot of things as well,
Hmm.
and it's fun when you're around good people, people that you can count on,
Hmm.
and I think that that's kind of what you and I over these years, which we're going on like 15 years now,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah. I would think so.
um, that we've been working on projects, and it's just been it's been fantastic because it's, again, when you can count on somebody
Hmm.
that has such a great talent pool, it just makes things a lot easier, and I always have really nice teams around me.
I think what's
So
really great is that you've taught me how to build my own pirate ship. In other words, it used to be, oh God, I got to get somebody to do this, or I got to meet this connection in order to make my next movie or whatever. And you just said, you can do this in a million different ways. It's not always going into somebody's office with your knee pads on, begging them for help. You can actually be a real independent artist, which you are. You don't belong to, you're not under contract to any big studios or anything. You just kind of do your thing, and that's taught me a lot. So.
yeah, and I love the freedom of that. I
Hmm.
love the freedom of being able to do that. But again, I think the most important thing to be able to accomplish that is to have really great people around you,
Hmm.
and I have long-term relationships with people that are just really talented, and that we all are very excited about working on projects together.
Hmm.
And I think, and this is our life. So, it's hard. Sometimes sometimes it's difficult to get those shots we need. And sometimes you have to, there's a lot of stuff stopping during the middle of COVID,
Hmm.
when working on your movie, everything just gets stopped and shut down. And you
Hmm.
really have to get to a creative place to figure out how to keep a project going when it's against all of those odds.
Yeah, it's been
So,
tough with Ulysses Coyote, but it looks like it's back on track. But I mean, speaking of independent film, so Trinity and I, the first feature film we ever did together was a thing called Vertical, which is now it's playing in a couple of different platforms, especially the Roku channel. I'm really proud of that, and we're trying to move it up. My film Cosmic Radio is actually on Amazon right now and a bunch of other platforms as well. But I didn't work with Trinity on that. It was before I met you. But now it seems like I have more of a confidence that anything that I direct or write or produce it's going to find a home somewhere. And I think that's due to you being able to say, look, you don't have to go through all the old channels. And I think what you've learned just in the entertainment business over the last 15 or 20 years has really rubbed off on me. And I think you rub off on a lot of people. Just people at the film festival are always looking for you. They can't ever find you. And I say, she's working on 18 projects right now while the festival's going on. So it's funny.
Oh, that's funny, but you as well, Stephen. Just bringing me into an industry and that type of culture, and then of course, what I do is I'm like, okay, let's figure out a way to make things happen where I don't have to completely depend upon other people's decisions and other people's time frames. And I think that that's what's been really great, that we're able to, get down and make things work. No matter what. And, and it's a new age. It's a new age for music. It's a new age for film. There are so many different creative ways. And I think a new age for creativity. There's so much that's going on that is just incredible, and so many opportunities as well.
Right. What I think is fascinating about you, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but most artists, they do it backwards. They create the art, they learn to be an artist, and then they don't know shit about the business. You kind of had your artistic side, your big creative side kind of close to the vest while you learned the business. And then you said, okay, now I'm going to put this stuff to practical use for my own art, which is probably the way everybody should do it, I think.
Well, that's really interesting because I've worked with very, very artistic people when it's, whether it was in a marketing department, and design and video and so on. And there's a certain, it's beautiful. I love working with artists because the incredible things that they can bring to life, and then managing them, allowing them the space to be able to create, removing their obstacles, and then helping to maneuver things in a way that makes sense for them. And so, for me, I'm just very practical. I always first want to figure out, how are things going to be paid for? What leverages do we use? If I know we're going to film, for instance, a concert, and we go to film a concert, what's the nut that we have to come up with to film that, and am I going to be able to sell that to the record company? And you just you mitigate all of your risks so that that you will be able to at least break even, and then and hopefully, if you're doing it right, that you're going to be able to make a profit on it. And I think that when you come from building everything from that side, that business side, and then you join up with creatives and help them to bring their creations to a reality using that type of thinking, it's just a perfect combination. And I've just been super fortunate to be able to have that very kind of left brain practical aspect, and then be able to cross over into the creative and allow that creative to do what they're good at.
Right.
And I love that. I love that, that space.
Right. Well, the one thing that you've always been able, that I've really noticed in you, that I've tried to feed off of is, like right now, we before we get into the Scotland Festival real quick, we've just opened submissions for Idyllwild 2023 after 2 years of being a virtual event, and I hated it. And Trinity would say, no, there's opportunity here. You've got to look at the opportunity, not just what you hate about something. I didn't like virtual events. I couldn't wait to get back to live events. I'm glad we have. But
Yes.
Because we had to do the live streaming thing and do our award ceremony all online, you said, now watch what happens. And we had a couple thousand people as opposed to 500 people at the award ceremony because everybody was online. And I went, now I get it. Now I see.
Yeah, and I think that's something that was really interesting that came out of COVID. I mean, you and I had a ton of work where most people didn't have jobs. I mean, we were... because everybody needed something new to be able to do online. So it really pushed into that technical creative space. So, all during COVID, it was working on, big programs. There was a whole Michael W. Smith program with like words of hope to people. There's, there were releases that were all done on the internet. Our film festivals were done on the internet, and they were, they were quite comical and funny. And these are all things that we were never pushed to do before. But now that we have been pushed to do them, I think that it expanded us so that now as we do our physical festival, we can add that virtual component, and bring it to so many more people. So,
that'll help us with our sponsorships and everything else, because our numbers are all of a sudden tripled, quadrupled, which is great.
Yeah, and it's just great out of adversity. The necessity is the mother of invention, as they say, and in so many ways, just the last couple of years really brought us into new things. Remember, we did the California, the big California.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that state of California live. It was kind of a conference, and Trinity we'd never done anything like that before. She just said, "No, I can do this," and we made it happen, and it was great.
Right,
awesome.
And the governor came on,
right,
and all of these big companies, all how the electric vehicles are getting more and more efficient, and it was a pretty huge conference. But we got in there, we did all of their graphics and videos and nailed it.
Yeah.
So like I said, it adversity isn't always it isn't always a problem. It does sometimes make a more superior product when you take it on head on like that.
I'm trying to figure out what exactly I have learned from the fact that you and I were in London shooting the first act footage of my movie Ulysses Coyote, and then it just got shut down right after we had this plan for a whole U.S. portion of it. And but yeah, in hindsight, it's just like, you know what? In the end, it'll just even be a better movie because I've had time to think about it more. And so I think you've just opened up a new line of thinking for me. Not to get frustrated at stuff, but look at one of my good buddies, and he's one of my best friends and a business advisor, Steve Tuma. He tells me that all the time, dude. You're looking at a mirror instead of looking at this overall. There's opportunity in everything that your eyes can take in, and I've got to learn that, and so I'm doing my best. But you've helped with that a lot too.
Well, and I think that's the thing. If you look for that opportunity, I mean, sometimes we just really want to push and do the thing that we want, but I think we have to be open to many different possibilities for it to be accomplished. And it might be something that you didn't think of before. But if you always have your eyes open for that opportunity, you see so many more options. You see so many more possibilities that can exist. And I think, well, as you bring up that Ulysses one, I mean, look at, we flew over there. We filmed that first part. That was a banner trip. We were with the Taylors, Roger and Serena. We were with these great actresses, but that is when we met up at a little pub. I think I was just on my way to Netherlands. I had to leave that afternoon, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And we were filming actually an Alan Parsons concert in
that's right. You went from one project to another.
Yeah, but we sat down and we met with Vari, and and Vari, it was just a friendly meetup.
Vari Calvi, who's the director of the Scotland Film Festival, which we just started.
Right.
Yeah.
And exactly, she sat there and we had this really nice lunch, and she said, "Boy, I love your festival, and that is on my bucket list. I really would love to have a festival." And we just started to have that discussion there, and we said, okay, let's put it out there. If we want to make that happen, we can make that happen. Of course, COVID came along, but we still kind of put a date out there to make it happen. And we didn't know if we're going to have to do it virtual or not. It was really weird how, things started to spike right before Idyllwild. And we have so many decisions that have to be made months in advance. And right at the time that was happening, we thought there's just no way we're going to be able to pull off this festival. with all of this uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
And, and in the end, I don't know if you remember when we did the thing online, I actually had COVID.
Oh,
So
that's right. Yeah.
I had just gotten off a tour with, Alan Parsons and PJ Olson, and I ended up getting COVID on that tour. So,
Mm-hmm.
which would have happened in the live one. So, I think we made the right decision there, even though we don't like doing that. We don't
Right.
like doing that all online.
Right.
But it also geared us up because then we did Scotland, and we did a physical festival,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just really exciting. Again, knowing that we're in the right space with independent artists, giving them a voice.
Mm-hmm.
We saw some incredible films. And, I'm super excited with Idyllwild. We have a lot of big companies that want to come in and sponsor. So that's all super exciting for the exposure for the filmmakers as well.
Yeah, and we didn't sit on our laurels during COVID. We were working the whole time, and I think having even that extra year that we took because of COVID to get the Scotland Festival off the ground was probably a good thing, because it was a huge success. Let's talk about Scotland for a minute. The Scotland International Festival of Cinema was held April 19th and through the 24th in this amazing little village, Peebles, Scotland. It's just a short drive from Edinburgh, but it's a cool little town. It's this hundreds of years old town, and the Eastgate Theater, that was our main base, was built in this 400-year-old church or whatever. I mean, and it's all in the inside is just absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just glad to tell everybody it was a huge success and so satisfying to those, especially our team that worked so hard to put it together. Leslie Patterson, who's a writer, producer, she's got a Netflix original coming out pretty soon. And Vari, the aforementioned Vari Calvi, who's a very well-known Scottish actress. Her first movie when she was 5 was Braveheart, and she's just got this presence that brings people together. Everybody wants to shake her hand and talk to her. And then Vivian Reed, who's somebody that we met, who won a Best Screenwriting Award at our Idyllwild Festival a couple of years before. She's been gold. We just have this great team. But
they're
now,
all Scottish.
And all Scottish, yeah. Trinity are the only Americans on the team. But now that the dust is cleared, how are you feeling about that first ever festival event in Scotland? I mean, are you thinking, as I am, that it's pretty positive that we can move on now to year after year?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We were going to try to get out there, beforehand to scope everything out. And there was the travel restrictions and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we landed there, I just thought there could not be a more perfect place for this little intimate festival, very much like Idyllwild, where the whole entire community is there supporting it.
Mm-hmm.
A wonderful, theater that's there. I thought it was just wonderful, beautiful place. We were there during an incredible time weather-wise.
Mm-hmm.
The Hydro, which is this hotel that has been a family-owned hotel for 300 years or something,
yeah.
Centuries.
Yeah.
They came in as a huge sponsor. Were very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great success. Angus McFadden came out. He was great.
Right.
And and all the people on our grand jury. I mean, I think that it couldn't have been much better than it was. It was a really successful festival.
And it was a surprise. It was truly an international event right out of the gate. I mean, we had filmmakers come live. They actually flew in from all over the UK, Europe, the US, Canada, Australia.
US, yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
It was really awesome to see such a live turnout for a first-year festival. It was just great stuff. Plus the press coverage. That's what amazed me. We had BBC television, BBC radio.
Yes.
It was beyond
Yes.
amazing, and it gave us that boost we needed to put the festival on the map.
Yeah, and I think our 3 other partners were just incredible in making that happen. The local ones there, just really incredible. And we have so many plans for that. Now interacting with the schools and helping that next generation of filmmakers. Doing a giving back program as well. So
and Vivian Reed, who actually lives in Peebles with her dad, who was a great guy, but she she and Vari together were boots on the ground a lot, but Vivian really helped us to because she is there in the town, and she spearheaded a lot of stuff that we wouldn't have had without her, and I'm really grateful. Well, the whole team is just great. So
and Leslie's somewhat of a local celebrity to Scotland, as she represented both the United States and Scotland, I believe, in several of these triathlons that she's won. I think she's won maybe 5. Just incredible, and her resources and connections as well. And as we're going into the future, seeing a lot of those come to fruition. So
Leslie just walks into a room, and she has that. I mean, from being a disciplined world champion athlete, she brings that into the entertainment world. She just walks in. Who's in charge here? Who do I need to talk to? But she does it in such a sweet way that everybody just isn't. Yeah, it's great. The whole team. And
again, how important it is with the people that you're working with, the team around you, to be able to, be super supportive and they're just, everybody's great people on there.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to take up your whole day. I know you're busy, but I really appreciate you making the time to catch up with me. And it's been, as I was telling the audience at the beginning of the podcast, this is my first episode of 2022. We've been on hiatus because there's so much work going on, but I'm getting back to it now, and I wanted you to be the first guest. So thanks,
Well,
Trin.
It's always a pleasure, and I thank for the honor, Stephen. It's great.
And I hope to see you soon. We got a lot of stuff going on, and I'll see you when you're in the area. And I think I invited you to a premiere that's coming up, so hopefully you can make that. Our good friend Irene Bedard, who's the voice of Pocahontas, and she's on Westworld and Longmire, and she's got her new film is coming on. There's a Hollywood premiere, so I'm hoping you can show up for that.
Yeah, that'll be great, and I think I will be around town that time frame, so I think that'll probably work.
Cool. All right. Well, Trinity Houston, everyone. Trin, I hope to see you soon, and we always talk, so I'll be talking to you pretty quickly.
Yep. You too, Stephen. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, well, I promised myself I'd keep this episode short so as not to overwhelm you all with too much information, but keep an eye out as we post new episodes in the coming weeks and months leading up to the 2023 season of both the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema, the Scotland International Festival of Cinema, and the New Music Festival, which is still in the planning stages, but which we hope to have up and active in the summer of 2023. And remember, you can learn more about both film festivals at idlewildcinemafest.com and at scotlandifc.com. And those of you wishing to submit your work to either festivals, you can find us on filmfreeway.com. Idyllwild submissions are now open, and Scotland submissions are open as of July 1st. So there you go. Thanks so much, everyone, and I look forward to bringing you exciting new content on the Stephen Savage Show in the coming year. It's going to be great, and it looks like we're back on track with a lot of things, so I'm happy to report that. So for Trinity Houston and myself, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time. Thanks.